Hi, thanks for taking the time to learn about our agency system. My name is Jason Homer. I'm one of the founders here at Insurance Specialist Network and one of the creators of the ISN agency contract. First off, let me start by saying that you found the most agent-friendly group in the country, and we are extremely proud of that fact. ISN was created by myself, a former captive agent with Farmers Insurance, and my business partner Joe Springer, a former producer in an independent agency. Our two perspectives were combined to create the system we now call ISN. So what are we, and why are we unique? It's a great question, and one that's best explained by telling you a bit about our transition from captive agent and agency producer into the world of independent agency ownership. My journey as a captive agent was a pretty good one. I had a great start, saw a lot of success, and I'll forever be grateful for the things I learned while I was a captive agent. Some positive, and some negative. After nearly 10 years as a captive agent, I found myself near the top of my district nearly every year. I was making a pretty good living, but I found myself feeling like maybe I wasn't offering my clients the best options. I found myself battling with the idea that there might be a better solution out there, not only for my clients, but also for myself and my family. I also found that my commissions were getting cut, and there was more and more pressure from the company to produce, and some very complicated metrics that I needed to hit to be considered a top agent. I started to seriously consider opening an independent agency, so I began to arrange meetings with many of the independent carriers that I wanted to work with. Most of them did take the meeting, not knowing that I was captive, and quickly recanted their willingness to work with me. I explained that I was going to leave my captive company and go independent, and I was just getting my ducks in a row, so to speak. Each carrier rep informed me that they had only taken the meeting to get to know me and would consider offering me a contract once my independent premium was at a level between 5 and 10 million, depending on the carrier. I thought to myself, 5 to 10 million? My current agency isn't even half that, and I'm considered a very successful agent. How in the world do I get to $10 million in premium, especially if no one will give me a contract? After 6 to 7 of those rep meetings and constantly hearing no for an answer, I had one final meeting, and guess what they said? Yep, they said no. I asked that last rep how I was supposed to make the transition. I knew that agents went independent. I demonstrated the ability to grow an agency. I had a great track record. What was I missing? The rep told me that the industry had changed, and that to go independent, I needed to join a group. I asked for some recommendations, and he gave me several to choose from. After doing some of my own research and finding several more, I started to set up meetings with those companies. I won't name names, but if you've gotten far enough to be watching this video, you probably already know most of them. I started to take those meetings, and there was one immediate red flag. They all wanted me to sign immediately. Several, I actually had to almost forcefully ask to leave my office. I mean, come on. I'm looking to make a career change. Change that will affect me and my family potentially for decades. I'm going to need a few days to consider. I started a pretty good collection of aggregator contracts and began to review them, working out the pros and the cons. I saw commission splits ranging from 75 to 90%. Some contracts mentioned bonuses and some didn't. And those bonuses were split anywhere from 50 to 80%. It all came with qualifying factors. But most concerning was the book ownership piece. Most of the contracts I reviewed claimed some level of book ownership, most in the 25 to 30% range. On top of all that, at least half of the contracts I reviewed also wanted me to pay a sign-up fee. And of course, like most things in the contracts, that also varied widely. Some as low as $2,500, but some as high as $50,000. So let me get this straight. You want me to pay for the privilege of being in your group, then you're going to take a cut of everything I earned my entire career. And then finally, when I'm all done and ready to sell my agency, you want to take a big chunk of that revenue as well? None of this sat right with me, and we decided to set out to change the model. We acquired an agency, put our heads down, hired a bunch of agents, and got to work writing as much business as we could, as fast as we could. Over the next few years, we grew our agency and our group to nearly $50 million in written premium. This gave us the leverage that we needed to start our own aggregator, Insurance Specialist Network. So now what? How do we actually change the game? We spent nearly 3 years hammering out what is now our current contract. We bounced different ideas back and forth, and we went back to the drawing board more times than I'd like to remember. But then one day, an epiphany. It occurred to me that this current aggregator model wouldn't work in any other industry. And when you really boil it down, the model's pretty simple. The insurance agency aggregators offer contracts to agents that they can't get on their own. They make agents part of a pool of premium that allow the agents to function as large agencies. And they usually have a software solution at a discounted rate. Basically, they're giving the agents the raw materials they need to build an agency. Then this analogy came to me, And when I shared it with my business partner, Joe Springer, it completely changed our approach. It became very obvious how we should proceed. Here's the analogy. Let's pretend you and I are home builders. We work for a big national home building company as foreman, and we're compensated very well. We're each in charge of overseeing the building of 200 homes each year. Our families are well cared for, but we work long hours. One day we get to talking about our jobs. We know that the building company we work for makes between $50,000 and $100,000 per home. So doing the math, we realize that their profits before overhead on the homes that each of us oversees range between $10 to $20 million. It doesn't take long before that conversation turns to, you know what, we should start our own companies. We could build far fewer homes and make just as much money, or we could build just as many homes and make significantly more. The next day we meet up and we go to the local hardware store. As we walk in, we're greeted by one of the workers who asks if he can help us. We tell him, yes, please, point us in the direction of the Hammers. We're each starting our own home building businesses. The hardware store worker tells us, unfortunately, we don't sell hammers to small builders. We only sell them to large national builders. Disappointed, we ask how we're supposed to start our own businesses. Surely people are still able to start a small building company. The hardware store worker tells us, good news, we have the perfect solution. We rent you the hammers that you need. We'll always make sure your hammer works and that it's the latest and greatest hammer, and that you're able to build the home you want using this hammer. We decide to sign the hammer rental agreement and proceed to choose a couple of lots to build our houses on. You decide to build a $500,000 house, and I choose to build a $250,000 house. We draw up our plans and receive our first bill from the hardware store for our hammers, each for $20. After getting the plans drawn up, we each break ground and start building our homes. In the first month, we get the framing done and the roof on, and we also receive another bill from the hardware store. This time, mine's gone up to $25, and yours is $50. Confused, we pay the bills and continue on. The second month, we get the siding on and the shingles and start to move the interior. We also get another bill from the hardware store. This time, mine has ballooned to $50, and yours is now $100. We start to wonder why the price is getting so expensive. More curiously, why is yours twice the cost of mine? After all, the hammers we're using are exactly the same. Finally, we finish up our houses, carpet is in, walls are painted, and the for sale sign is in the yard, and it's not long before we each have a buyer, but also a final bill from the hardware store. This time, yours tops out at $250, while mine is $125. We both shake our heads as we pay the bill, and in short order, we're headed to the title company to finalize the sale of our houses. Everything goes to plan as we hand the keys to the families making the purchase. And as we exit into the hallway, we see the hardware store clerk waiting for us. As he approaches, he says, congrats on a great job. Now, you owe me 30% of the profits on your house. What? Why? You didn't build the houses, we did. And you charged us an increasing amount the entire time to rent your hammers. That's true, but you couldn't have built those houses without my hammers. That's exactly how the aggregator model works. The companies that agents work with basically offer the tools agents need to build an agency. They take a percentage of your commissions, which as you grow your agency becomes more and more expensive. Then when you want to retire or sell your agency, you owe them a cut of your valuation. We believe this is wrong. We believe the hammer should cost a set amount, and you, as an agency owner, should be allowed to use it to build any house you want, big or small, two-story or rambler, modern or classic. It's your decision. Our job is to make sure that you have the tools to do so. And best of all, you know what those tools cost on day one. The tool isn't going to get more expensive because you're successful. Our agents enjoy the freedom to grow their agency however they see fit. Whether you want to be a small shop or a massive growth-oriented agency, our tools can get you there. We'd love to tell you more about our agency partnership model. Whether you're a captive agent trying to find a good solution to join the independent side, or a current independent agent who wants the advantages of a mega agency, our tools can help you gain the contracts, higher commissions, higher bonuses, and save money on software costs. All without giving up your ownership or splitting your commissions. Isn't it time you took the first step to become the agent you know you can be, to owning the agency that you know you're capable of building? Contact us to set up an appointment. Let's start a conversation that could lead to a career-changing partnership. I look forward to learning more about you, your agency, and your goals. Thanks for listening.